Are you thinking about buying a home? If so, let me help you break down the process through a step-by-step guide of bringing the experience of purchasing a home from frustrating to fun. In this video, we hope to educate and inform you on all of the steps necessary in order to purchase a home, and in a proper order. Hopefully, if you're considering purchasing a home, you're going to walk away with a few valuable nuggets of information. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to let you know a bonus trick that me and my team use. It costs absolutely nothing to make your offer stand out amongst every other offer when you're in a multiple offer scenario. All right, let's jump into it with step one. Step one, the buyer's consultation. If you're considering purchasing a home, the very first step is not to attend open homes or start scrolling through the internet on Zillow or Realtor.com or Homes.com. It's actually to schedule an initial buyer's consultation with your local real estate agent. I consider it not only a strategy session, but also an interview. Essentially, I'm interviewing for the position to be your trusted go-to realtor. This is a very important step. It's very often overlooked. And by not doing this, it creates many disadvantages. Not only just to you as the buyer, but for me as your realtor. Most people believe they're working with an agent to help them find a house that fits all their wants and needs, open a few doors, and write an offer. While that's essentially correct, how do you know if I'm the right agent or you're working with the right agent? There's a lot more to it to help you find that perfect home. And we need to go over a lot more than just the number of bedrooms and bathrooms and purchase price and town that you're looking for. My buyer strategy session normally lasts about an hour to an hour and a half, and it covers a range of topics. And it's actually an absolute blast. Not only do we go over what you're looking for in a home now, but what is your short and long-term real estate goals. I also go over the current market conditions, and they're constantly changing from month to month and town to town, even within the same county. You should go over a sales contract and all the paperwork involved in making an offer on a home in advance. A lot of times, the first time you're seeing a contract is when you're making an offer on the home. Think about it. How much sense does that make? Very rarely do you sit down when the time you're making an offer, fully read all those pages for what you're electronically signing. Be honest, you're just clicking, signing about 40 pages in about 0.3 seconds. You never really read and know the ins and outs of the contract. Your buyer's guide should include every page of the contract that you may encounter, highlighted and fully explained. It should also go over all the steps of the home buying process, how long the process takes, all the steps involved, the financial investments that are required, and where does that money go? Down payments, appraisals, survey costs, attorney fees, moving costs, and all your insurances, mortgage insurance, homeowner's insurance. And if your agent isn't talking to you about upping your life insurance policy, then that's a conversation that you need to have. Now, you should cover the cost of the house in addition to your normal coverage. And you can't forget about closing costs. Step two, mortgage pre-approval. Very, very important to speak with your trusted mortgage lender and mortgage advisor. Your mortgage advisor will go over things like what is a pre-approval versus a pre-qualification, which one's better, and just because you qualify for $1 million loan, it doesn't mean that the home that you want to make an offer qualifies for $1 million. Each loan type is different and has different standards and requirements of the home itself. The worst feeling in the world is falling in love with a house and not being able to afford the mortgage. I have found that everyone's much happier when we know how much funds it's going to be required up front, how much the closing costs will be, how much the monthly mortgage payments will be. It's so important to know all this information in advance in the beginning of the home buying process. By doing this, you can ensure your realtor is not only sending you homes that's in your price range. That's essentially what you want. Now, you no longer have to worry about the monthly payments, down payments, and all the other fees and costs involved. You only have to worry about falling in love with that house. It simplifies the process. My job is then to get your offer accepted. Once you know what you feel comfortable with as a monthly budget, we work those numbers backwards to find a maximum spending limit that you feel comfortable with. And we incorporate what the taxes are on that house as well. We have to know your loan style and your loan limits. Step 3, know your other services. Title, attorney, insurance, etc. I'm a firm believer you should know your attorney or at least have a conversation with them before you're using them as legal representation to make one of the largest financial decisions you're going to make in your entire life. This is a very controversial, as my first 5 years of real estate, I would make an offer with a client, and after the offer was accepted, we would then choose the attorney that they wanted as representation. Well, there's technically nothing wrong with what I was doing. There was a better way of doing it, and I was just ignorant to that fact. Once I made the change, there was a big difference, not only in how smooth the transaction went altogether, but also how many of my clients' offers were accepted on the homes that they placed an offer on. The same should go for the other parties in the transaction. I'm not going to go through them all here, but for example, while viewing homes, and I wouldn't worry, the next step is coming up soon where we actually view homes, you should also have a trusted go-to insurance representative. If you own a home now, you should feel comfortable calling to check to see if your home that you want to make an offer on requires flood insurance and how much it costs. And if not, we have those people lined up for you. Step 4, you've been waiting for. Finally, viewing those homes. Unfortunately, this is step 4 and not step 1. And a lot of people start on this step. But by missing the first 3, the result, feeling like you've seen every home in town. Not only that, but the ones that you fall in love with are just a bit out of budget, which makes everything in budget just kind of feel subpar. Maybe it doesn't have that pool or the upgraded kitchen that you wanted. The homes that do check at least enough boxes for you to make an offer on just don't seem good enough, and they don't seem like a right price. What happens? You get extremely frustrated and you want to wait until the market cools. More homes come on the market. Maybe you want to wait till the rate goes down. Maybe you want to wait till home prices go down. Or maybe you want to wait for the sun to set. Or maybe you want to wait for the sun to rise. Who knows? But everyone is frustrated and just wants to quit and give up. But it shouldn't be that way. There has to be a better way. You're purchasing a home for a first time. Or maybe it's been a while since you've made a purchase. Maybe you're in need of more room, need an upgrade, or maybe you're going to be an empty nester soon, so you're planning on downsizing. Either way, you were hoping for a smooth transaction. Starting with step 1 brings the process, again, from frustrating to fun. It might not seem like it, but once we get all that boring stuff out of the way out front, you're going to be educated, informed, and armed with the knowledge to confidently make an offer when we find your dream home. I can probably make an hour-long video just on the things we should go over when viewing homes alone, but I want to leave you with just a few highlights. Don'ts and do's. Don't view too many homes in one day. After you've seen 3 or 4 homes, they start to blend. You start to forget which home had which features and amenities. Did the 5th or 6th home have that layout that you liked, and much more. Don't forget to look in the attics and crawl spaces. If you're thinking about buying a home, you're purchasing the whole home, not just a 95%. So you should be checking out the entire thing, not just a portion. Okay, so the do's. Do turn lights on, take pictures, and open drawers and cabinets. Start an album on your phone. Name it, the address of the house. Group all those photos together. That way you can look at it for reference. Do look around foundations for cracks, roofs for wear and condition, and also missing flashing and overflowing gutters or overstuffed gutters. If you want the full list, make sure to contact me directly. My information's in the description below, and we'll go over all those red flags to look for. Step 5, making an offer. Okay, so you've done your buyer's consultation, you know your financials, you spoke with the other parties involved. Not only did you view some homes, but you found one that you want to make an offer on. Now is the part where your trusted realtor comes in very handy. There's several different prices when it comes to one house. There's actually 4. You'll see the listed price publicly, as well as the assessed price, which is what your taxes are based off of. There's the appraised price, which is the value that the bank assigns to the home. And then finally, hopefully this is yours, the accepted offer price. By knowing the current market conditions and trends, as well as number of current offers on that home, condition, resale value, cost of future improvements, and how long you're gonna be there, we can come up with a number, not only to make on that home, but we can also come up with the right strategy to get your offer accepted. Step 6, your offer does get accepted. Congratulations! Since we went over the condition of the house, the local market trends, we've even spoken with your representing attorney and had them review the offer being placed and accompany it with their own letter. They accepted your offer. Oh crap, what do you do now? Well, you take out 2 things, your calendar and your checkbook. Now we're gonna start having to mark down a lot of dates and start writing a whole bunch of checks. But this is actually the fun process. So attorney review. Step number 7, attorney review. Now every state is different and all states do not require attorney. And I'm just speaking for New Jersey, where it's not required, but more often than not, each party is actually represented by an attorney. Each attorney for the buyer and the seller gets a fully signed contract. Once they get a copy of that contract, they actually start to review it. They make a whole bunch of changes to that blanket standard New Jersey state of sales contract to better represent your situation for the seller and for you as the purchaser. Step 8, initial down payment. Now is when you write check number 1 for the initial deposit, known also as good faith money. This is a percentage of your total down payment, not something in addition. I normally write the down payment to be held in your attorney's escrow account, which means they're holding on to it. But it's about 50-50 on which attorney is going to end up holding that deposit in the long run. Step 9, the home inspection. Now is when we start to schedule your inspections. Attorney review is over, you're officially under contract, and this is where your general home inspection, depending on the type of systems and amenities, you might require a specific septic inspector, a well inspector, a pool inspector, a dock inspector. But if anything's found upon these inspections, we will then go in with a qualified contractor for further evaluation if needed. I always recommend a GPR scan, which is ground penetrating radar. This scans the ground to ensure you do not have any underground oil tanks that could possibly contaminate the environment. You definitely want to make sure that there's no environmental issues or contamination issues before you purchase a house. If you did not inspect for this during your purchase and something's been found later, whether when you're doing a project or someone's going to purchase your home, you are held financially liable, not anybody before. So step 10, we schedule the appraisal. This is not necessarily required if you're paying cash, but if you're using a mortgage with a bank, they want to know that you're not overpaying for that home. They're going to send out an appraiser of their own, someone on their behalf, to make sure that they're not letting you borrow $1 million for a home that's only valued at $350,000. Again, your loan not only depends on your qualifications, but also the asset, which is the house that you're borrowing against. Step 11, negotiating home inspection issues. So you did your home inspection and you found a few issues. If no issues were found, I'd be concerned that the home inspector did not do their job properly, and I would probably hire another one immediately. What we're able to negotiate depends on how we placed and wrote up our offer. Did we waive a certain dollar amount of inspection items? Did we say that we'll only ask the seller to remediate safety, structural, and environmental issues only, which is very common nowadays? You have to make sure you know your inspection negotiation power and what you agreed to waive when you placed the offer. Step 12, schedule title search. Who owned the house before you? Who cares? Well, you should. You want to make sure that every time the home has changed hands, or even the same owner with different names, whether that be to a marriage or a divorce or someone passing, that it was signed and documented properly before you own it. It does not ensure the future, just the previous past. Step 13, review your insurance policy. This can be done as soon as inspection items are negotiated and you have a tentative closing date. You want to make sure that when the closing date comes, you have the proper coverage of insurance on your new home. Step 14, schedule the movers. Now is the time to start packing and scheduling those movers. Start boxing up any items, room by room. Identify what item is in each what box, as well as what box belongs to what room. Start packing all those out-of-season items first, leaving only items you're going to need in the next 30 to 45 days to pack last. This will also be the items that you're most likely going to need first when moving into your new home. So make sure to have those items readily accessible. Step 15, add home protection plan. If you have an insurance policy, why would you get a home protection plan? Easy. They're completely two different things. A home protection plan covers by repairing or replacing several items in the house due to just general wear and tear. These are not items covered by insurance. Other items can be added, but normally in a home protection plan, it covers your plumbing, electrical, appliances, cooling, and heating. See, I would just purchase a home protection plan just looking and knowing the statistics alone. Did you know that 77% of people who purchase a home have something go wrong with their plumbing, electrical, appliances, cooling, or heating within the first year of home ownership? That's not 77% of the people who have a protection plan. That's 77% of people who purchased a home. Only the people who actually purchased the home protection plan for a couple $100 were covered when those actual items failed. Step 16, scheduling a walkthrough for those negotiated items. If you did negotiate items to be repaired, we actually confirm them with a visual walkthrough once that work is done. I work off the trust but verify method, but the last thing you want is to move into your new home, have a bunch of unexpected repairs that you need to make that should have been taken care of as agreed to previously. Once you sign on closing day, it's too late to bring up anything else or any items found after you've moved in. Step 17, schedule the closing day and the services. Again, step 12 through 16 happen very quickly and almost simultaneously, right on top of each other. But once all items have been negotiated, inspection items have been taken care of, your insurance policies are in place, and the appraisals have been taken place, we can then confirm that we have a closing date with the attorneys. Now, this might have been changed from the original contract date, and most often at times it actually is, and it's for several various factors, and most likely no fault of your own. This is also when you should coordinate with the local utility companies to start services for the confirmed closing date. Water, gas, electric, oil, propane, any services that you might need. Step 18, acquire all those closing costs. Now, we're gonna have a general idea of the closing costs in advance, but several fees are prorated to the exact day of closing. So once we have that exact date, all the numbers can be accurately counted, such as oil and propane levels to be measured and reimbursed to the seller, because they're not just gonna give you some free fuel, as much as that would be really nice. But any and all of these credits are gonna be accounted for on the end statement. This way you know how much you're writing a check for or sending a wire for, and there's absolutely no surprises. Step 19, final walkthrough. Generally, we schedule the final walkthrough the day of or the night before. So when we know the time that we're gonna have the closing date, you go ahead and do it a few hours before. Once again, this period is used to ensure that the home is in the same condition as the day that you made the offer. We want to make sure that the appliances are working, we don't have any flooding or trees that fell on the house. Maybe the seller damaged some walls when they moved out. I've had closings where the pipes froze in the winter and busted the day of the closing. So you never know what you're gonna run into. This also allows time to ensure and confirm that the seller left any items at the house that might have been agreed to. And just as important, that they removed all the items that they were supposed to. A lot of times they're gonna leave behind a few items that we don't want. We wanna make sure that's taken care of. Step 20, finally, celebrate. Closing day. Congratulations. You are a new homeowner. Now's the time that we sit down with the title company, attorneys, and go over all those documents that require your signature. Once you're done signing and transfer the remaining down payment over, you're officially a new homeowner. Once you sign everything, it's now your responsibility. So make sure you have utilities again scheduled to start the day of the closing. You don't want to come home to your house with no lights or running water or anything like that. So thank you very much for listening to the 20 steps that you should know and the order when thinking about buying a home. If you found this advantageous, please like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who you think this may help. And if you're looking for more in-depth details about any of the steps, because that's the condensed version, make sure you contact me directly. All my information's in the description below. Now, as promised, here's the bonus tip to make your offer stand out amongst many others, even when you're in a multiple bid scenario on your dream home. Now, it seems silly. It seems very easy to do because it takes about 15 to 20 seconds. So simple you wish you would have thought of it before you lost out on the last 3 homes. Keep in mind, you can only do this if you're already working with a trusted real estate attorney before you place your offer, not after your offer is accepted. By then it's way too late. All right, you ready for it? Attach a copy of your initial deposit check. If you write a copy of your check, this costs you nothing. If your down payment amount for your earnest money is $10,000, write it to your attorney's escrow account. The money never left your account. The check never left your checkbook. But by doing this, it leaves that impression that your attorney is in possession of the initial deposit. This also shows your seriousness and strength as a buyer. Not only did you present a strong offer based on your realtor's recommended price, but it shows that you're proactive. I mean, just imagine when I'm helping you sell your house and we have many offers, but amongst those many, there's one offer and their deposit check is stapled, a copy of it, showing their attorney already was in receipt of those funds. I don't know about you, but if it was me, I would definitely seriously consider that offer. So, once again, if you like my insider bonus tip that I use, please like, subscribe with anyone who you think this video might help. Please send it to them and share it. Until next time, I'm Michael Rossi from the My Rossi team, your local residential real estate enthusiast.